Hello and welcome to Flag Football Update. My name is JJ Robinson. Joining me today is Noah Mitchell. Noah, head coach of the Flag Football team. As we should know by now, it's episode 3. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Rest and recovered after a long weekend and ready to get back out.
Kind of rested.
Kind of rested, yeah, certainly kind of rested.
Long bus ride home. We did travel to Maryland this past weekend, going 3-1. It was an overnight trip. We had 4 games. Just what did you see from those 4 games that we played?
A lot of growth, a ton of growth. I know me and Gary talked about it before. I think they're starting to settle into the groove of what the sport is and just executing the game plans that we've executed. You know, in the first game, and we're out there, and going back to last weekend, right? I think that it was a lot of, hey, we're just out there, we're running around like chickens with our head cuts off, and we're playing football and pulling flags, right? Where this weekend, I think we settled in a lot to the game plan, the schemes of what we do good. And I think got better on what we don't necessarily do as well. So overall, I think it was, like I said, a great experience. Like you said, we were 3-1, and wish we should have left 4-0. Just kind of fell apart at the end. But I think we got a feel for what it's going to be like to play those long weekends. That was something new for us too. You know, we go in there, and 2 weeks ago we play 3 games in one day, right? Well, now we're having to manage. Hey, we got 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. And now we know that the fatigue level where we need to get to be able to compete late into Sundays.
Definitely. I definitely even noticed just on the sideline that energy from day 1 to day 2, it definitely had dropped a decent amount just because it was cold.
Yeah.
The second day straight of playing, which definitely going to take a toll just mentally on them.
For sure.
But that's something they'll get used to going on, and we won't have long weekends like that until the end of the season.
Yeah, we only have one more of those, but the next one is the most important one, right? When we go, you know, that's the championship one where we have to prepare to play Saturdays and Sundays, and that Sunday could get really long. You know, we're guaranteed one game, and the more you keep winning, the more you keep playing. So we definitely have to make sure that we are taking care of our bodies and being able to get the adequate rest that we need to be able to go out and compete on those Sundays.
Definitely. And then I just want to break down a couple of these games. The first game we played, a 25-6 win. What did you see in that win during the first game on Saturday?
Defense. I mean, defense came out to play. I think Kamaya had a pick 6 again. I think second weekend in a row with an interception, to the point where we play that same team on Sunday. I know we'll get to that later. And the coach said that she had to create game plans to just throw away from her side of the field. So defense came to play that day. And then offensively, they threw a good bit of interceptions, and we were able to capitalize on that by moving the ball, keeping the clock running, and putting some touchdowns together. You know, it's nothing better than starting the game off with, you know, you hand off a jet sweep and it goes for what would it be? 100? I mean, we're not 100 yards, but all the way for a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Just on the first play of the game.
First play of the game.
Big momentum boost.
Huge momentum boost. So kind of, I think, locked our girls in and set the tempo for what that day was going to be like from the first snap of the day.
Definitely. They had a whole bunch of energy throughout the entire game from the first snap. A little slow, but of course, the first snap goes for a touchdown that's going to bring up energy and morale a whole bunch after that long bus ride the day before.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously the hotel situation that we went through, just proud of those girls for being able to get up and play that early the next day.
They were more worried about eating than getting into a hotel, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they were. They gave me a whole bunch of crap about not being able to eat yet.
All right, and then the next game scored another 25 points, but this time we shut out Howard.
Yeah, that was really cool. I seen, you know, the Sports Information put it out, first shutout in program history, and I think those are things that you kind of just overlook because you're used to that not being the case. The program's been playing for however long the football team's been here. You know what I mean? And you're not necessarily congratulating the first shutout. So to read that this morning, I'm like, that is really cool. You know what I mean?
But I didn't even think about that either.
It's the defense just being put on display. You know, I think it's something that we are ahead in, something we excel at is defense. You go throughout the whole weekend, we play 4 games, we only give up 13 points, and only 6 points on day 1 and 7 points on day 2. So the defense is where our heart and soul is, and we just have to keep relying on that to keep us in games, and then we just need our offense to keep developing, keep coming along so that we can start pulling away from teams a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. It's also kind of hard when there's all these injuries that start to pile up on such a small squad.
Yes.
What are some struggles that you saw just within the weekend between day 1 and 2?
Between day 1 and 2, I think I kind of talked about the fatigue factor of, you know, playing 2 tough games on day 1 and playing at a high level, and then, you know, needing to go back to the hotel and we go out to dinner and give the girls some free time and you know, we're really, really young, you know, and we do bed checks and you go for bed checks and you see that they're still up and energized, and while they're in their rooms with their roommate they need to be in, but some of them just need to do a little bit better job of maybe taking care of themselves that night going into the day 2 of games, and understanding the importance of rest and recovering. Because like you said, the injuries start piling up, and the injuries are going to happen. I think Dr. Herbie came out to our first game, and she couldn't believe how physical it was. And while it was a little bit of a eye-opener to me, I had been exposed to it a little bit before, but it is a very physical sport for a sport that has no padding. Right. You know what I mean? So we just have to do a better job of taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves, so we can show up on Saturdays and Sundays in this situation in the best shape we can to be able to compete.
Right. And then going into day 2, start out with no real offense in the first game.
There you go.
Going into overtime 0-0.
Yep.
And then shut them out during their first drive of overtime.
Yeah.
And then I give all credit to you scheming up that very last play just on the sideline there. Just break us down through that game.
Yeah.
Just what you saw.
Like you said, offense was going to be hard to come by that game. It was, give credit to CSI. They won the championship in the league last year. Have been playing for, I want to say this is their 3rd or 4th year playing. So they're developed into who they are, and they've been extremely successful. So I knew it was going to be a tough game for us. And like I said, offense is a little bit behind on what we're doing defensively right now. But again, Kamaya and Alicia and Mitchell and our linebackers coming up and pulling flags and creating turnovers. The ball stayed. It was really cool. Ball stayed in pretty much the middle of the field the entire day. You know what I mean? And not much offenses were getting movement. But like another famous coach on this show says all the time, the offense has to complement the defense, and then the defense sometimes has to complement the offense, and that's exactly what happened. Got us to overtime and got us into a situation where we only needed to go 10 yards to score a touchdown. After we stopped them, Noel had some fantastic flag pulls to set them back, which makes it really hard. They got 4 chances to score in overtime.
Right.
So when their first chance and they get backed up to the 20-yard line on a sack, now you're saying you got 3 opportunities to go 20 yards is rough. So it's kind of what I stressed to Alana, going out for that offensive possession is we just can't go backwards. Right. We can't go backwards. And you had noticed some things that was going on during the game, and I think we got the perfect opportunity to use it there in that overtime period to give us obviously the chance to win it. Mm-hmm. And then credit, like you said, credit to me, credit to the girls though for being able to go out and execute it. I don't think it's easy all the time to be able to draw something up on the sideline and then going out and being able to do it. So credit to those girls for being able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Yes, like I said, it was a 6-0 win. We didn't need to go for an extra point on that just because we got the second possession.
Yep.
But then stuff not really going our way during that last game on Sunday. A loss to the team we beat the first day, 0-7.
Yeah, I think we just got to do a better job of finishing. That game took a lot out of us. That first game against CSI, there was a lot of emotions behind it. The excitement level was there just because of who they were. And I think we just got to keep on doing a better job. Me, myself, I have to do a better job of, putting it on display that it doesn't matter. We can't play down to the level of whoever we're playing or play up to the level of whoever we're playing. We have to play our brand of football and making sure that we're playing the game the correct way, the way it's supposed to be played with the mental, locked in, the energy that needs to be put on display at every game. That it doesn't matter who we're playing in a sense that we're just being able to go out and play, Vulcan's women's flag football.
All right. And then just through the development, through the day 1 and day 2, even within yourself, going forward, how do you see the games going? Because like you said, we beat the team that's been playing for 4 years by a decent margin.
Right.
What do you see just going forward through the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think the confidence is, you're just going to see the confidence continue to grow with the girls. And then I think the more and more we keep going out offensively and being able to execute things, the more and more we can start putting in. So I'm excited to, the girls are off today and get back at things tomorrow and being able to put in some new offensive plays or schemes to give us some new chances to be successful on offense. Because like I said, and I got to take all the blame for it offensively, just kind of struggling a little bit, being stagnant. We got to get back in the film room and put in some things that are going to help us be more consistent and explosive on offense.
All right. All right. We're going to give you a little bit of a break. We're going to talk to one of our players now. We'll be right back here on Flag Football Update.
Vulcans, the anticipation was real. The Student Activities Board is excited to announce that this year's concert will be 303 and Hot Chella Ray. The concert will be held on April 16, 2026, with doors opening at 7 p.m. The concert begins at 8 p.m. with Hot Chella Ray, with 303 following. Tickets are open to all students and the public. Student tickets are at a discounted rate of $10 to $15 and allow for floor access. Public tickets are $15 and only for the bowl access.
Have you ever wanted a baseball universe at your fingertips? Well, now you can with On Deck Baseball, the card and dice game that lets you run your own fictional baseball universe or play as some of the great teams and players from the past. Dive into the fictional universe with a league of custom teams and players. But don't stop there, as there are expansion teams and rookie sets to keep the league going for years. If great teams are your thing, then check out the pro version with dozens of historical teams waiting to take the field. Step up to the plate with On Deck Baseball. Find out more at on-deckbaseballgame.com. That's on-deckbaseballgame.com.
Hello and welcome back to Flag Football Update. We had just talked to Coach Noah Mitchell a little bit, and now joining me is one of the players from the team, Bethany. Bethany, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Just introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us where you're from, your major, what year you are, and just how you became to come on the football team.
My name is Bethany Conant. I'm from Johnstown, PA. I am a senior health science major, and I just recently joined flag football. I had never played before. I was actually on the track team here, and I was looking for something new to do.
All right. So coming from track, I know we have a couple former track athletes on the team. How did you come from wanting to be a track athlete to a flag football player?
I've always loved football and loved watching it, but it was never something that was offered to me back in high school or even here at the time. So once I found that it was a new program that was starting, that was just something that I was super interested in trying out.
Okay, so you always had a little bit of interest in football.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what do you like to do? Do you like offense, defense? What do you specialize in?
I play mostly defense. I like the chase of going after people and trying to get their flags and stuff.
I like that. You like to chase and be able to put some fear into the offense.
Yeah.
Try to rattle them up a little bit.
For sure.
All right, and then looking back at this past weekend, there was 4 games and it was an overnight, 2-night stay. Just explain your experience with that.
I think we did really well overall. It was definitely a good experience where all of us got to bond more outside of the games, even at the hotel and on the bus ride and stuff. But for the games overall, I think we all did really well, each individual person. And there's obviously definitely still things that we need to work on, but it was a really successful weekend.
All right, good to hear. And then, like you said, you are a health science major?
Yes.
So where do you see yourself going with that after school, since you are a senior?
I actually already accepted my spot. I will start doctorate school for physical therapy in August.
All right, and are you doing that at Cal, or where will you be doing
No,
that?
Cal actually doesn't have a program for a DPT yet, so I'll be going to Slippery Rock.
All right, to Slippery Rock. That's unfortunate. But is there anything else you'd like the viewers to know, the fans to know?
I don't think so.
All right, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be right back here with Coach Noah Mitchell once again on Flag Football Update.
Hi, I'm Gene Steratore, CBS Rules analyst and longtime sports official. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule. And the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media, and there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support.
Welcome back to Flag Football Update. We had just talked to Bethany, our Mike linebacker, and now we are back with Noah Mitchell once again. How you doing?
Good. Bethany's a great one to have. Talked about needing to get the addition of some girls that were already on campus, and her coming from that athletic background, her being a senior, being mature. She's been great to add to the room to teach girls, one, what it's like to be a college athlete, and two, what the preparation that needs to be put in place to be successful.
Definitely, and she just kills it on the defensive side of the ball. Flying to the flags always. Always seems to be there.
I think she was named. They did all-tournament team. She was part of the all-tournament team for what she did because, like you said, she's always around the football. And that's kind of why we keep her in the middle there because she does a good job of her hand-eye coordination and being able to pull flags and being able to read the centers and the tailbacks and that sort of thing to know where the ball's going.
Mm-hmm. And then looking on to this week of games, a little bit of a short week. We do play on Friday, and we're also off today, so we get 2 less practices in this week. What are you looking to see from the team coming this week?
Yeah, I think it goes back to kind of what we talked about before is the rest and recovery thing. Coming off a short week like that, we got to make sure we're taking care of our bodies. We got to make sure we're making appointments to get in with the athletic trainers to get healed as much as we can going into Friday. Because like you said, going off of 2 less practices is going to be tough. So it's a lot of going back to what do we do well, obviously leaning on the defensive side of the ball. But then offensively, how quick can we pick up on the new stuff that we're going to have to do game plan wise to go out and beat a really, really good team that also won an overtime thriller against CSI. So me and Coach over there, we played against each other on the men's football side of the field. So it'll be kind of cool to coach against each other now.
All right, and then just keep going into this, like we said before, there's no film.
Yeah.
Just preparing for these teams, a lot of skiing, a lot of watching what these other teams do.
Yeah.
Is there anything from the past weekend that you saw that you are looking to try and put into your own game plan?
Yeah, well, luckily from this past weekend, these NCFFL showcases, they are broadcasted on YouTube. So was able to go back and watch a little bit of Mercyhurst, and we'll continue to go watch some more Mercyhurst. But they're a solid team. They're extremely athletic. They're coached really, really well. And they've been getting after it. They started playing games this past fall, so they got the experience under their belt where, it's put on display to go in and beat the reigning, champion of the league in CSI. They're a team that's going to play hard. They're a team that is going to compete. They're extremely athletic. They're going to do some different things on the secondary. They're not going to stay in cover 3 all the time, or they're going to mix it up and go middle of the field open and show us some cover 2 sort of look. So it's just going to need to be teaching the girls the difference between what we're seeing and what we're going to see against Mercyhurst and the multitude of things that they're going to do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. And then even looking a little bit past that, home opener is coming up soon, April 11th against Allegheny. Just what are your emotions towards that as it gets closer and closer?
I'm excited. I know the entire university is excited. The athletic department is the most excited. This is something that they've been waiting for a while now. And we hope that the rest of the student body and the community has been looking forward to it as well. Like I said, I know I referenced it a couple shows ago, just walking down the hall with recruits or whoever it may be, and parents are, man, I wish this was around when I was in school. Well, I think the best way to give back to the program, if you weren't able to play, is by just coming out and supporting the girls. So just really looking forward to what that turnout is going to be like in a couple of weeks, but just got to make sure we take care of business this week and give people a reason to come out.
Right, of course. Luckily, we came out the weekend with a winning record, 3-1, and then overall, we now have a winning record within the season, which is always good to see. Just, of course, building on that. Of course, the one win last week got us on the right track, and this us being able to continue on that through the weekend was also great. Coming out with a winning record overall. Just great for people to see on the website through everything that we've done so far.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the thing that is doing the most for the girls is just raising their confidence level. Showing them that, hey, you can play with these teams. I don't care how long we've been preparing, what your experience level is in the sport, with the way that we try to get after things in practice and the way we try to do things the right way. I think we're putting ourselves in situations to be able to win games, and I think that's the most important part is just creating confidence and building up their ability to believe in themselves.
All right. That's all I really got for you. Is there anything you'd like to add for the fans or anything before this next week's game?
No, I mean that's really it. I know we got a bunch of parents. Thankful to the parents that keep traveling to these games. We had 2 parents, I believe, that got hotels. Another family that came out this past weekend. So the support on the road has been phenomenal. So thank everyone for that. So bringing it up to Erie, a little bit shorter than the drive we just went to. So I can't wait to see who's able to make it out to that, and then hopefully pack Adamson Stadium here in a few weeks.
All right. That's all I really got for you guys. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this edition of Flag Football Update.